Hello everyone, this is my latest project. It's a Mustang SN95, it's a V6 engine and it's from 1996. And this was a bargain for me. I came over this extremely cheap, so I felt like, okay, let's pick it up. I wanted a V8 of course, but the price was talking for itself. It's a manual, and the purpose with this car is mainly for my wife to practice with when she's taking her driving license. So it's a perfect car for that, and it's a little bit more fun. But there is some work to do with it. Overall, it's in a good mechanical condition. Like the engine is good, the driveline is good. So this is mostly about detailing to get it to look really nice. And as you can see, it's a little bit pale in its color. So I need to polish it, I need to clean it, and make all the detailing work. So the first thing I've done with this is to dry it up. I put a fan inside, opened down the window a little bit, and now it's been drying because it had been standing outside for quite a while, so you need to dry the interior up and clean it up really nice. So today we're gonna you're gonna follow me when I'm cleaning it, and you're gonna see how I clean it. Like in the first step. Later on, I'm gonna rent a carpet cleaner machine that you use with like water, and you get like a really deep clean. But that's for a later episode. So let's go closer and I will show you the fan. As you can see, we have the fan in here, and I already feel that it's starting to dry up in here, and it's a little bit drier. And when I picked it up, you kind of felt the moisture in here, and the back window was kind of like foggy, and there was a lot of moisture. I even got a little bit wet in my ass when I was sitting on the seat. So that's starting to disappear now. So what I'm gonna do now is to vacuum everything, and then I'm gonna take the microfiber cloth and just clean the interior basically. And I'm gonna leave this overnight when I'm done with that. And tomorrow I'm gonna drive it to my job, and well, that's gonna be interesting to see if I actually get there or if I don't. But I feel confident that this car will take me back and forth without any issues. Another thing that I've already done, which I also recommend you to do when you pick up a car that has been like standing for a while, is to fill up the gas tank, especially if it's low. Top it up and get some fresh gasoline in there and let that mix with the old gasoline that is in the fuel tank. Stuff that I'm going to do ahead is to change the oil and the filter and the air filter. I'm going to clean the engine because it's a little bit dust in there, so I wanted to clean it so it looks nice, and then I'm going to polish the car so I get it shine up. But now I'm going to show you how I do with the vacuuming. It's not very dirty, so it's not going to be a hard job, but I'm going to show you anyway. So I got all the carpets removed, and now I'm gonna just like work around the car with a vacuum cleaner. And I don't have any fancy vacuum cleaner. This works with any vacuum cleaner. What I like to do is to take up the pipe of the vacuum cleaner and just rub it into the carpet and into the area that you're gonna vacuum. That works pretty good. It kind of like rubs out the carpet and you get the dust out. This is the first step that I'm doing. The second step is going to be to bring in my Dyson vacuum, which has a special head that I'm going to use for the carpets and in the car as well. I'm done with the first round of vacuum cleaning, and that was not really challenging. This is not a dirty car, and this is not a detailing video where I'm going to show you an amazing result before and after. This is just how I clean the car and how I do with the new car that I picked up. The second round of vacuum cleaning is going to be with this thing, and this truly is an amazing piece of art. This is a Dyson vacuum cleaner, which has a special head on it, and It works really, really good on stuff like this, and I could warmly recommend you to pick this up for cars and for cleaning in your home. I sound like I'm selling vacuum cleaners now, but it is truly amazing. Vacuuming the interior of the car was quite easy. It was not very dirty. So now I'm gonna clean it up, and the way I do that is with microfiber cloth. That's the way to go. I also use a glove with a microfiber because it goes into the holes and stuff like that really good. This is not so dirty, but if it would be really dirty, I would probably have used a air compressor and use the air and blow out the dust. That works really good in the carpet too and stuff like that, but I'm not going to do this in this vehicle because there's no reason to it. For the interior, I used, you could just use some form of interior cleaner. This one is from a Swedish company called Biltema. This is a super foam. Most of them are working equally good. This turns into foam. You spray it like this, and then you wipe it off. I don't really have a favorite, but then I don't do this so often, so I don't know. I'm gonna use the foam now because it looks cool. So I'm spraying it like this. Be cautious when it comes to like connectors and stuff like that. And now you maybe wonder why I'm not using the glove that I just showed you. And that will be for the second clean. This is just the first rough clean. Let's use the glove. And for that, I'm going to use this spray because the smell of this is much better. It smells lemon, it's fresher, so you could think about the smell as well. Now I try to get this one in the small joints and stuff like that. So let's spray the steering wheel. They tend to get quite dirty. While it soaks in, I'm cleaning the other parts around here. A pro tip is, since you clean the carpets, it could be a good idea to take off your shoes, because if they are dirty, oily and stuff like that, you kind of don't want to bring that into the carpet. So this is absolutely no rocket science. It's just using the microfiber cloth and clean it off. It's almost like it feels a little bit silly making a video about this, but well, whatever. I start by spraying it down, let it soak. Meanwhile, I could soak it, let it soak around here as well, because we're gonna go there. Get down in the holes. If you're gonna clean the edges like down here on the door, you should wait to do that when you're done with the other, because that's gonna, the areas down there tends to collect quite a lot of dirt, and you kind of want to clean the cleanest areas with the clean cloth before you go to the dirtiest areas, which is gonna make your cloth dirty. So something to keep in mind. Meanwhile, I'm going to do the other side, the door on the other side, and I'm gonna let it continue to soak here, because this is an area that quite often gets extra dirty. Something that sometimes is not thought about is the seat belt. You could just spray this down and clean it as well. Sometimes you don't think about it, but in this case it's quite obvious because it's quite dirty. So I'm going to clean those too. And I do it the same way. I spray it down and just clean it, wipe it off. When I'm done with all the wiping and the spraying, I take a dry microfiber cloth and I wipe it off with the dry one to finish it up. The next thing we're going to do now is that we're going to open up the hood, and that's going to be a bonus in this video. Because now I'm kind of done. This didn't take as long as I thought. It was not as dirty as I thought either, so that's a good thing. And as I told you before, I'm going to put the heat back in, and I'm going to keep the heat in the car over the night to really dry it out. We are under the hood, and as you can see, it's quite dusty and there's a lot of dirt in here. And I'm going to clean this up really quick in a very easy way. It's a three-step method. First I use the air compressor to blow off the loose dust. Then I spray it down with interior cleaner, and then I use the glove to just wipe it off. It's not a deep clean, but it increases the overall impression quite a lot. So first I start with the blowing off dust and debris. And when you're doing this, you should probably wear some eye protection, because sometimes what you're blowing up kind of comes up to your face. Since we are already playing around with the air compressor, I'm going to pop up the air filter, and I'm going to use the air compressor to dust this, blow this clean a little bit. Some people might have some opinions about this, but my opinion is that if you get some dust out of it, it couldn't be worse. Maybe some people would argue that you might destroy the structure of the filter itself by blowing a lot of air on it, but well, if that's your opinion, let me know in the comments. So this is what I'm doing. I'm blowing it clean like this, but I'm going to do that off the camera and outside. Of course, I recommend you to replace the air filter. That's one of the first things you should do when you pick up a new car. And well, of course it depends if it looks bad or if it looks new. In this case, it looks okay. There was quite a lot of dust when I blew it off, so I think, yeah, I'm just gonna replace it. It's not expensive anyway. But now I'm gonna put it back because I don't have any air filter to replace this with. Now I'm going to spray down the engine, and I'm going to use my glove to wipe it off. When you're spraying down the engine, you should be aware of things where electronic is located. Don't spray it on electronics where the liquid could go into the contacts. So be aware when you're doing this and where you are doing it. So here we start. I'm starting with the hoses around the fan in the front here. The battery is quite dirty, so give it some wipe there. The brake booster, a little bit there in the back. This is a thing that you should not overdo. And now I'm going to use this old glove to wipe it down. Also be a little bit careful when you're wiping it down, because you might break something if you're doing this too hard. There might be some electronic that is loose or sensitive or whatever. So be careful when you're wiping it down as well. This is just what I would say a temporary clean. It's not a deep clean, which you're gonna notice when it dries off, because when it's wet, it's gonna look shiny. But when you're done, when it's dried, you're gonna see all the places that you missed. But it doesn't matter, because it's still gonna look fresher than what it was before. Here's an update about the Mustang, because I kind of forgot to record an ending of the video when I was working on the Mustang. But yeah, I cleaned it up. I've been driving it a little bit, back and forth to work and stuff like that. And there is some issues with it that I've found. One of them is that I have vibrations when I'm using the brake. And I think that comes down to the brake rotors, that they are like bent or not straight. So I have replacements on the way. I also done an oil change, which is one thing that you should do pretty quick. You should not wait with the oil change, especially not if the vehicle has been like standing for a while and not been used and been standing outside. The oil change itself was quite easy because there's a lot of space there, so that's a good thing. The next thing that I'm up to is to replace the air filter. I ordered a new one, a K&N, a sport filter. I was thinking about adding a cold air intake, but the standard intake is kind of like having a hose similar to a cold air intake. So I start with just putting a more premium filter there and see what the result of that will be. And I also rebuilt the exhaust system by removing the muffler. So that is mainly for the sound. And well, some is also claiming that there is some performance gains, and considering that the stock exhaust is pretty narrow, well, maybe there is, but it's not so noticeable. And what more do we have? Did I mention that I'm going to change the oil in the differential? I have a video for that since before that I've done on a Jeep. So the procedure is quite similar here. But I'm probably going to film that anyway. And what more? What's more going on? Yeah, there's some weird stuff. There's the odometer is not working, so I have a replacement parts on the way for that. And it's quite a simple fix. The speed on the dashboard, the measure, you kind of have to knock it sometimes to get it like to wake up. So when I'm changing when I'm fixing the odometer, I'm gonna have a look on that as well. Perhaps it's the speed sensor that is located on the transmission, but well, I'm gonna look on the dashboard as to start with. So, and I also put some new tires and rims on it, so it's starting to look pretty decent now. And underneath, I'm going to clean it really well. Then I'm gonna go over it with a wire brush that I attach on a cordless drilling machine and removing the rust, because there is some rust. And then I'm gonna put some Rust-Oleum as a primer on the rust, because it kind of stops the rusting. At least that's what they claim. So that's going to be my primer, and on top of that I'm going to put some undercoating rust protection, and I'm going to use the TO3 that I've used before. I'm going to put a link in the description to the rust protection videos that I've done before on the Jeeps and also on the differential, because that is basically the same. So that's all for now. There's more content coming, and don't forget to subscribe on my channel by clicking here, and click here to, well, there is not a playlist for this Mustang yet, but click here for whatever content I will put there. Maybe, no, I'm gonna put the playlist for the differential and the undercoating here. So to subscribe to see the playlist for the undercoating. And thanks for watching, and I see you soon. And also let me know in the comments what you think about this new project and stuff like that. See you.